Hi there, I'm Una. You're very welcome to my channel. Today I'm showing how you can use your dies to create a beautiful background that is the same effect as a cover plate die, but you make it with your own dies. And the second card I make with leftovers from the first background. So let's dive in. First thing I did was create a panel of Nina's Solar White Classic Crest 110 pound weight card, and I put it on the cutting plate of my Gemini Junior. Now ignore the fact that these are held together with post-its. I didn't need to do that. I could have just laid them out on the paper. I flip over the sandwich and take it away to my Gemini Junior. Now it looks as if I'm having difficulty getting these out, but I don't. It's just they're so intricate, they have to be teased out, but they came out beautifully. And so my die cut piece is off to a good start. I rearrange the dies, fix them with post-it tape, off to the Gemini Junior again, and it's beginning to look quite full. I'm filling in the gaps, trying to make it as balanced as possible, and when I'm finished, I think the result is beautiful. I hope you agree, and I hope you let me know down below. The stamp I'm using is the Peruvian Lily from Altenew. I love the way these Altenew stamps layer up, but this one is just a particular favourite. It is stunningly gorgeous. And if you haven't tried these Altenew stamps, I would suggest that this would be one that you could try, because you can't go wrong with it. And watch the last thing, this rich cocoa and putting on the spots. Ah, gorgeous. The leaves, I'm using 3 inks on the 3 parts of the leaf, so I'm able to do them all together by swapping the leaf pieces, and I end up with 3 leaves that look quite like each other, not exactly the same, but then that's nature. Getting my cover plate, oh, I call it a cover plate, ready for the card. It needed a little bit of trimming. I adhere it to the front of the card. I think it's looking beautiful. And pop on some of my stamping tools just until it dries. Now I decided to surround it with a gold frame, and this is how I do that. I tape one down, then fix the other inside it and hold them together. Now you do need to be careful with these Waffle Flower A7 layering dies, especially the big ones. They can get distorted if you're not really careful, just to not pull them at all. But I managed fairly well, and it adheres well into place right around the perimeter of the cover plate. And I'm using that thank you stamp from this gorgeous set for making cards for key workers during this awful time. I use Versamark ink. Just at the last moment, remembered the anti-static powder bag, which, you know, is a lifesaver. It stops little specks of white adhering all over the show. I use Hero Arts Detail White and heat that up until it's smooth and melted. Remembering first, of course, to put the remainder back in the jar. And I think it looks really nice, and I cut it out with a rectangle die that has a stitched edge. Now I changed that up in a few moments. I thought it looked too big on the card. So I give some dimension to the flower with 2 layers of card. And here's what I did. I used a stitched border from Fawn to put that decoration on the sentiment, and then trimmed it off. So I adhere all the pieces to the front of my card and then finished off with a few sequins. And I think that's a really pretty card. Who wouldn't be happy to receive that? The second one I made with the leftovers from the first, and I decided to adhere them to a background of matching green shades. I cut a frame from a dark green, and then the mid green is going to be the main background, but I want to put a centerpiece into it in the light green card, and I'm going to do that with a nesting die, a label nesting die, and I'm cutting the 2 green pieces out together. Now I could have left them I needn't have been fiddling with them to keep them together while I was doing that bit. I could have just put one behind the other afterwards. But I cut them both out together and then inlay the light green into the darker green. I embossed it in my little desktop machine just to give it a nice edge. This is just a blue frame that I had lying on my desk when I decided that this was what I was going to do. And now to move on to the next step, I'm just going to move the little pieces so that the tips of them, the end tips, are on the frame. And you'll see in a moment why I'm doing that. If you see it done, it'll be better explained than me trying to put it in words. So I lay that, and the frame is outside the green piece. So the little ends will be sticking out over the edge, because now I'm going to put another panel behind that is just one size larger, and the stems are going to be contained within that area, except for the long ones, of course, that I have to trim off, but all the rest are just inside that frame that I'm now covering up the top with. But that was a lightweight paper and I didn't like the way it looked. You could see all the ripples where the bits were adhered underneath. So I decided I'd put a gold frame on this one too. But I still wasn't happy with it. Still see a little unevenness. So I adhered another one on top, and now I was happy. And the effect was lovely. It was like a picture frame. This is double-sided tape that I just bought recently. It has a lovely shiny finish and reminds me of a really expensive good one. But these were 5 big rolls for €6.25. And boy, is it sticky. Great value. So covered up the whole back with it. Because this is quite a big piece with a lot of layers, I wanted to make sure that it would adhere properly. So I finished off with some gems from Lucy's cards, and I think it's super card. Really pretty. And a great way to use the bits that were left from the first one. And here's the first one again, which I think is just gorgeous. And that Peruvian Lily really sets it off. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Some more videos here that you might like to watch. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. Do come back to Una's Crafty Cards. If you would like to leave a comment below, I'd love to talk to you. And if you'd give this video a thumbs up, I would be thrilled. All the best for now. Bye and take care.